Is Apple bringing back the Touch Bar on its MacBooks? We have your weekend Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. So what do we do on the weekends? You know it. We go through the weekend Apple news. I usually go through about 15 or 20 different Apple-related news stories, what's in the news right now. And then we also go through about maybe, 5 or 10 different Apple-related sales, what's on sale. We just had Black Friday, so we're kind of in a lull right now before Christmas, but there's still some good ones out there. Without further ado, let's get into the Apple news. We're going to start off with a sale here because this is a price alert on the lowest price so far. If you take a look at my screen here, here's from Amazon. This is the Apple AirPods 4 wireless earbuds. $138 right now, and this is the one that actually has right here active noise cancellation, not the one without, but with it. So this is usually about $180, $179. This is the lowest price alert you can find right now, even lower than Black Friday. So if you're looking for these things, it's a good time to pick them up, but let's keep moving. All right, story number 2, Apple Intelligence. You always hear Apple saying how good it is and how well it works, and it does work really good for the most part. But here's a story that might kind of, give a different spin on this. Mac rumors. It says iOS notification summaries lost in translation, how to turn them off. So we kind of scroll down here. It says, while Apple's AI summaries offer convenience, they've also produced some unexpectedly funny results, all right? So what does this mean? So when it actually does the notification, it doesn't always get it right when it summarizes your notification. If you take a look at here, here's some funny ones here from Reddit. Husband started texting girls, maybe lactose intolerant. That's actually what it got from the whole conversation, which is crazy. This next one down here, Ring. This is the Ring doorbell. Multiple people at downstairs, coyote pack fighting on the front porch. Imagine if you got that message. Here's another one over here. Needs to sleep. Math test revealed housewife potential. Makes no sense. Pretty funny, right? Imagine if you got that one. Here's Amazon. Package was delivered tomorrow. Does that make any sense? So it's kind of funny. So sometimes they start making errors like this. Anyways, if you really want to turn it off, you can turn that on, but then you don't know how to turn it off. Is it like permanent? No. So if you don't want to summarize your notifications, you just don't like that, you basically go in your iPhone, you go in here to notifications, then you go to summary previews, and you click on this, and you can click this button right here off to take them all off, or you can just go individually and just turn off each individual app that you want the summaries on. So anyways, it's easy to turn them off on your iPhone. On your Mac, it's very similar to that. So I just thought it was a funny article overall. For the next story, we have the featured story, kind of on the thumbnail you saw there. So is Apple bringing back the Touch Bar? Well, kind of, right? Here we are from 9 to 5 Mac. The Touch Bar's loyal fans have made a standalone successor inspired by Apple. You can see it right here. It says the Touch Bar was a controversial Apple creation, to say the least, but is now discontinued MacBook features being revised in a way through a Kickstarter campaign, basically, and it says by a product called the Flexbar. So here it is right here. I'm going to show you a video. It's about $119, or at least estimating that cost there. So what is this thing? So it's actually not a bad idea. I'm just going to play this video here. You can see it. Let me go ahead and turn the volume off. You can go ahead and see it. So it's a standalone bar, but it's saying it has a lot more functionality built into it. And so you don't have to obviously attach it to the MacBook. You can have it separate in front of your keyboard like this guy has here. You can use it for scrubbing videos and stuff like that. You can see right there. But you can actually, it says it's more responsive. It's got, I think some kind of not a retina display, but a very high resolution display. And they took it to a different level where they're really programming specific software into it to work directly with the Mac. And you can see all these tools you can see with drawing and stuff. It's going to make a big difference here. So overall, I think it's actually not a bad product. I don't know if I would put it on top of my MacBook like that. That doesn't seem like it's a great idea, right? Because you could maybe scratch the screen or something. But overall, you get the idea here. It's going ahead and showing it's a new product. I think it's kind of innovative, right? I don't know. Would you buy something like this? I mean, before you got it for free, now it's another $119, but it is a Kickstarter campaign. It is coming out for sure. It looks like they reached their goals and everything. So we'll maybe do a video on it later to see how it's, if it's worth your money. But anyways, I thought it was just kind of a cool article. This next article is actually another funny one. So obviously the Vision Pro, we all know that it's either a success if you look at it from one standpoint as being like some crazy technology to a total failure because no one's really buying it because of the cost. But here you go. You spend $3,500 on this headset, right? You spend all that money and you want to have a cool app. Well, what did they come out with for this thing for $3,500? Only Apple, the Vision Pro could accomplish this. Take a look here. This is from a company called Sandwich. You can see it right here. That's the name of the app, I believe. But take a look what this does. I'm going to play this. I'm going to mute it here. What it is it's an app you put into Vision Pro, and it allows you to take like a retro TV. You'll see it here in a second. And you can take a retro TV, and you can actually put it somewhere in your house. Let me take a look over here. So you pick the kind of the retro style of TV you want, and you can put it anywhere in your house while you're working. So you can go ahead and put it over there. You can go ahead and put an old TV over there, and you can watch TV on it as you're working. So if you're working on your, all your information and stuff, and you're kind of typing a paper or something, you can go ahead and put one of these old TVs anywhere in the room. It acts just like a TV, and then you can kind of view that TV on the side as if it was like an old TV. So at the end of the day, you can look at all these crazy TVs they have here. Again, this is an app only Vision Pro could come up with, because you're spending $3,500 only to look through goggles to see a TV that's probably worth about $25 in the corner. That's like a 13-inch black and white TV sometimes. So I don't know who's going to buy this thing. It seems funny on the outside, but kind of sad in the inside if you think about it, and only Vision Pro could do it. This next story was just interesting to me to understand like what Apple's selling for the iPhones and how it all works, because I always think like the Apple Intelligence is going to make a huge difference on the iPhone 16, but it really didn't. Take a look here. 9 to 5 Mac. It says the best-selling smartphones in the world are last year's iPhones. You can see this article here. So I'm going to scroll down here. It says, basically, Counterpoint Research says that the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the Pro model took second and third places. So here's the iPhone 15, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the i15 Pro, then the Galaxy, iPhone 14, Remedy, and then Galaxy. So these are the top-selling phones of now. You're going to say, well, it was not that long, but this is actually Q4 of 2024. See it right there? So last quarter of 2024, this is the top-selling phones. Now, obviously, it's because of the cost, but they're not selling iPhone 16s. They're selling 15s. So a lot of people don't care about Apple Intelligence and things like that. And if you look on Apple's website, I'm not sure they do either, because if you kind of go to the iPhone over here and click on here, you're going to see that they're still selling the 15 and even the 14. Look at this, 15 here, the 14's here. So you can still buy an iPhone 14, which is actually crazy right off their website. So long story short, who knows what they're trying to sell if it's anything. I mean, these things are still kind of expensive. The iPhone 14 is still $600, $700. So I guess they don't care what they sell. I just thought that was funny that the 14 or actually the 13, well, the 15 and the 14 are outselling the 16. Okay, so we all see how small the new Mac Mini is right here, and we keep talking about it, but it was actually going to be even smaller. Take a look at this article, Apple Insider. It says the M4 Mac Mini was almost even smaller, but design compromises were made. It says the redesign of the M4 Mac Mini could have been even smaller. Apple executives have admitted, but there were quite a few trade-offs needed to produce the best version yet. So long story short, they wanted to make this thing even smaller, if you can imagine that. I don't think that's a good idea, especially with thermals and stuff like that. What they say here is the inclusion of the M4 Pro variant meant the design needed to include improved cooling, which I just said here, which also fed into acoustic considerations. We probably could have been even more aggressive with the smaller size of the Mac Mini if we decided to only design for the M4, but because of the M4 Pro, it says they had to go bigger there, all right? That's kind of, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but if it was only the M4, like kind of like the iMac where they only have the M4 version, this would have even been smaller, if you believe it or not. And then the port placement here, it says that they actually thought that it was a good idea to add them to the front because of the success of the Studio, but then they also defend the button being on the bottom, and they say the same thing I say, like you only turn it off every so often, maybe every couple months, but a lot of people still complain about that. They say that it was a trade-off of putting ports in the front versus the button, but I don't understand why they couldn't have put the button somewhere else, even on like the back side or something. They probably could have. There's probably just kind of covering it up right now, but it's just kind of a cool article where this thing could have even been even smaller than this little thing right here. All right, so we know the M4 MacBooks are really fast, but the M3s are actually really fast too, and there's some good sales right now at B&H. And again, these could be subject to change, but if you're watching this maybe a week or two from now, use this as your low price point on these so you don't buy anything more than this if you find them somewhere else. Here we go right here. This is the 14-inch MacBook Pro M3 right here. $1,899, $500 off. So what are we getting here? Let's go down here. This is the 11-core chip. We get 36 gigs of RAM, though, and a 512 gigabyte SSD and 14-core GPU. But 36 gigs of RAM now, 512 gigabyte for $1,899 on the M3. So if you're a high RAM user and not so much a CPU user, this might actually be a good option for you for $1,899. That's a good option there. The next one here is the same exact one, the Apple 14-inch MacBook Pro, $2,299, but it's $500 off. So what does this one have? It's got the 36 gigs of RAM, but a 1 terabyte SSD. This has also got an upgraded chip here. It's got the 12-core chip and the 18-core GPU. You can see it there. So it's got the upgraded chip, 36 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte for $22.99. So I think that's going to be a pretty good deal there. Even if you're thinking about the M4, this is going to be fast enough for almost everybody out there. Okay, so macOS Sequoia has another update coming. It's going to be 15.2. You can see here from 9 to 5 Mac. macOS Sequoia 15.2 RC now available. Wide release is coming soon. So it says Apple has released the macOS Sequoia 15.2 RC, which is the release candidate in beta. And then what it's going to have, basically, it's going to have the Chat GPT integration with Siri, the image playground apps and system feature. It's going to have writing tools with Chat GPT and custom rewrite requests, and then local English support across the different countries and stuff. That last one's not important, but these other three are. It says notably though, in macOS 15.2 does not include Genmoji support, because it's actually coming to the iPhone Genmoji support, but not to macOS. It says right here, the feature is available on iPhone and iPad users on this release, but it's not ready for the Mac yet for some reason. So it's not going to be coming to the Mac, but it will be on your iPhone and your iPad, which is kind of weird for Apple to kind of have one feature go somewhere, one direction and not the other. So that's really weird to me. But overall, it looks like it's coming next week, whatever that means. It doesn't give us an exact date, so keep an eye open for that. It should be released. Okay, we got another little quick sale here. Now, hear me out on this. This is so basic of a thing I'm going to show you here, but it's really changed my life a lot if you think about it. I'll have links to this in the description if you want to pick one of these up. They're actually really cool. Right here from Amazon, this is called the Desk Clamp Power Strip. So think about this for a second. It's $27. It's usually $50, so it's half off roughly, 45% off. All it is a little clamp that goes on the back of your desk. I have a desk over there. It clamps on the back of your desk. So if your power cables are on the bottom, let's say you want to plug other things in at your desk, you don't want to go underneath, you just clamp this on the back of your desk. If it's a black desk, you won't even see it. And it comes with 5 power plugs. It's got 1200 joules power source surge protection, but it's got 4 USB-C and 2 USB-A. It says it's up, 20 watts each on the USB-C to charge, and then 4 amps, I believe, on the USB-A to charge. So it allows charging. You can charge your devices with it, and it's got the 5 plugs on it, so you don't have to go under the table to plug things in, and it's only $27. It kind of changed my life, because now I can do all my reviews and stuff and plug everything without, going under and getting like dust balls all over my pants and stuff. You know the idea, right? Something so small, it did make a big difference. This next story you probably heard about a couple times by now, but it's interesting to me. It was on like Luke's Manami's channel, which is actually a YouTube channel. Here's Mac Rumors. It says affordable third-party Mac studio storage upgrades coming in 2025. So a French company, Polysoft, they reverse engineered Apple's proprietary storage modules, and they're now offering on a Kickstarter campaign. They're going to start offering these at sale. They're not available, I don't think, yet, but it says the company's studio drive modules will be available in 2, 4, and 8 terabyte capacities. Pricing starting at $420 for the 2 terabyte, $843 for the 4 terabyte, and $1,158 for the 8 terabyte. So roughly half of what Apple charges. Now, it's still crazy expensive if you think about it. I mean, overall, that's expensive cost, right? But at least it's cut it in half of what Apple is, which is kind of crazy there as well. They also go on to say that with this process, they're actually starting possibly to be working on the Mac Minis over here, but they have to re-engineer the whole chips and everything. It does take some time, so it might be a few months down the line where this comes out for the Mac Minis, but at least it's a possibility. But when you upgrade it, it's not that easy. So you may have to have like a third party do it, or you have to be pretty gutsy to get in there and start taking things apart. It's not that difficult either. You can watch Luke's channel, but it's still, I would say, a difficulty rating of 6 out of 10. So if you're not tech savvy, I wouldn't give it a shot. So are you waiting for the next iPad Pro? Well, you could be waiting a long time. Here we are for Mac Rumors, the M5 iPad Pro to enter mass production in late 2025. It's saying that right here, production in the second half of the year next year, according to Apple industry analyst. So it looks like it's going to be after August, September of next year. This is going to be coming out definitely like later in 2025 with the M5 chip though. It says down here, the M5 series is expected to feature an enhanced ARM architecture, and it will reportedly be manufactured using TSMC's advanced 3nm process technology. Apple's decision to forego the 2nm process for the M5 chip is believed to be due to cost constraints. However, the M5 will still feature significant advancements over the M4, notably through the adoption of TSMC's system on an integrated chip technology. So long story short, it should get faster, a little bit better battery, things like that. But it's not going to be as good as the 2nm because they're going to wait probably to 2026 for that iPad. We're talking 2 years away from now. So anyways, even if you want the next one coming out, the M5, and you see some good sales in the M4, you might want to get the M4 because we're waiting about a year now. Okay, I think one of the best sales right now, at least right now, on the M4 chips on any computer right now is this one here. This is from Amazon. It's the Apple MacBook Pro 14-inch again, 12-core, 16-core, space black, 24 gigs, 512. So it's the base model, but $17.99, usually $19.99. A lot of the sales went away for Black Friday and stuff, but this one's still holding strong. It's only 10% off, but that equates to $200, which is actually really good for a chip that just came out. So definitely pick that one up if you think it's a good option. Okay, so the Vision Pro, we're talking about it again, even though nobody really has it. Here we are for Mac Rumors. It says visionOS 2.2 adds support for watching 5 sports games at once with multiview. So you can now watch 5 different sports up on the screen at the same time, all live. Now, I don't know how that's going to do with most people, but I think people that have like betting addictions and stuff, it's going to really send them down to the to the gutter pretty quickly. They're going to be able to bet on more games, right? I guess that's what it's for. But maybe not, because you would think that maybe football or watching, maybe even like fantasy football, that's actually a safe thing to do, right? You know, you can do that. I think people would watch it for that. But unfortunately, it says the multi-view feature of the Vision Pro works with MLS, which is going to be soccer, or Major League Baseball games. But other sports like football and hockey are not supported. So, I mean, who's going to watch 5 different baseball games? I watch a baseball game, and I like soccer, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about it. Unfortunately, I do like it, but I mean, baseball. I couldn't even watch one without falling asleep. If I'm watching 5, I might be like, taking an 8-hour nap on the couch, right? So who knows? I can't watch 8 different baseball games, and I barely watch one. So at the end of the day, I don't know how successful this is going to be, but at least they're adding more features. Okay, so if you own a Mac and you game, you probably cry a little bit every single night because the Macs aren't that great at it, but we're getting a little bit better. Here's Mac Rumors. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown launches on the Mac Store. Popular Ubisoft game, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, is available for download from the Mac App Store as of today. This was a couple days ago, so it's been out there for a couple days now. If we go down here to the game, it actually looks pretty cool. Let's just take a quick peek here. You can see the gameplay here, and I mean, it looks kind of challenging. If I, let me see if I can scroll up. It has some other things in here where you're fighting monsters. Look at this. So I don't know how to, it's kind of like Baldur's Gate, I guess they call it. Some game like that where it's kind of an action game. So I think these are the type of games that we need more of, right? This game's only going to be like $19.99, I think they said. So definitely kind of a low price point to get in compared to the $60, $70 games that they sell. And overall, if more developers start porting these games over, I think this will catch on. I mean, the Mac is fast enough to play a lot of these games. They just haven't been ported correctly over or been developed for the Mac. So here's another one that has been, and we're going to see how it plays. I have not installed it yet, but if you guys have, post in the comments how it plays. Okay, this next story left me scratching my head a little bit when I read it at first. It makes some sense later, but then it's kind of funny at the end too. Apple Insider, it says right here, Apple considers using Amazon chips to train future Apple intelligence models. It says Apple is using chips sourced from Amazon Web Services to handle searches, and it may also use them to pre-train Apple Intelligent AI models. So I didn't really realize this, but Apple has used AWS for more than a decade, including for Siri, Apple Maps, and Apple Music. So it kind of sources those chips out. And I guess Amazon's got some new chips out in the cloud, and they're very powerful. And it's saying that basically it's going to give them a 50% increase on what they're using now. And they may use it to train these models. But the thing I thought was funny was, I read in here, it says because it lowers the cost of them, it's a low-cost option for them. So even Apple's chips are too expensive for Apple. That's what made me laugh. I mean, they can't even use their own chips because they're worried about costs, so they're using Amazon's, right? I mean, really? But really, it goes on beyond that. So I know everyone's saying, well, how do they keep it secure? They promised to use only Apple servers for Apple Intelligence. They still will do that. So it says right here, the use of Amazon's chips may alarm some users who are familiar with Apple's privacy-focused approach, but it says Apple usually performs on-device processing using its own chips, which it also employs for cloud-based tasks such as private cloud compute. However, the AWS announcement by Apple doesn't actually affect Apple's processing practices at all. It's all about training the models, not processing the queries. So they're only going to use those chips for training, not processing, and there's the difference there. That's how they get around it, but it's just too expensive to use their own chips for that. They got to use something cheaper. It says it right in there. I thought that was funny. Here's something interesting that a lot of people do not know that's coming in January. It's kind of crazy. So here we go. 9 to 5 Mac. TikTok ban still coming in January after new U.S. law upheld. Pretty crazy. So if you scroll down here, it says TikTok's ban is looming, and a new ruling by an appeals court has removed one of the last reasons of hope that the ban might not go into effect. So ByteDance's options for stopping the ban grow slimmer. They basically have to have this part of it resold to a different company. But a 3-judge panel in Washington basically upheld a new U.S. law to protect people's rights, and that means that they're going to have to ban this. So it looks like obviously the only hope right now is the new administration coming in, and we're not going to get into any political stuff either way. But still, this is kind of what it is. So I think obviously this happens. They're going to do this a couple days before the next administration comes in the U.S. So it'll actually possibly be banned, whether it's for a couple days or forever, who knows. But people don't know this is still out there. They think it kind of went away. It didn't, and it actually just got reinforced. It's going to have to go to the Supreme Court if it's going to be overruled now, and who knows if they'll do it in time. Okay, Festivus for the rest of us, right? You watch Seinfeld. Well, I'm not saying this. This is coming from all like Mac Rumors and Apple Insider. So you guys do your own research if this is safe or not, but they all link to this link here. So here's a company down here called Festivitas. You can see it. I think it's a little app that you can download for $4 or €4. What it does is it adds lights to your desktop and adds lights to all your buttons down here for Christmas, and they actually kind of glow here and stuff like that. You can see in here, there's a whole bunch of settings for like the colors of the lights and stuff, and it tells you how to get it all set up. There's a whole bunch of ratings over here, but I'll have a link to this, guys, if you guys want to check it out. Festivus right there. I'm not telling you to do it. It's just something cool I saw on there and everyone's pointing to. I haven't done it myself, but if you guys do it successfully, post in the comments. All right, just a quick note here. This is actually from 9 to 5 Mac. It says Tesla officially unveils Apple Watch app now available. So if you have an Apple Watch and you have a Tesla, here's the watch right here. Now, what's the difference? You used to be able to run the Tesla app through like your phone or something, but now it works as a standalone app here. It's saying that you can do like your air conditioning. You can use it as a key. It actually says like if you go to the gym, a lot of people leave their phone in their car, which is not a good idea. People will rob your car usually while you're at the gym. But if you do that and you still need a key to get in, you can use your watch now and actually do that. So if you have a Tesla and you have an Apple Watch and you don't want it to be linked always to your phone, definitely pick this app up and see what it can do for you. I just wanted to let you know it's out there. Okay, like I said, we're in a lull for sales right now with Black Friday just being over. Here's a quick one. It's not the best sale. This is the 2024 M4 iMac here, base model, 16 gigs, 256. It's $100 off, 8% off right now. But I mean, other places don't have any sales on it right now. At least some places. Some places I checked. So $100 off is not bad for the base model. It's a good system. $11.99, you can't go wrong. Okay, just a real quick thing here. So if you're looking for Apple Watch bands and stuff, you always look at maybe Amazon, but you want real Apple ones, always check out Woot, W-O-O-T. Take a look here. It's owned by Amazon, but they have some really good sales going on right now. These are all different Apple Watches, but they're also like the Apple Watch Solo Loop, like the real ones, $19.99, usually $50. These other ones over here are usually $99 or $29, Apple Watch braided Solo Loops. So they're huge sales here, 70% off, 70% off, 70% off, 59% off. You get the idea here. So if you're looking for stuff like this, always check this out. They're new, it looks like. They come just obviously, somehow they have a deal or something with Apple. They just sell the old stock, but still a really good deal at 70% off. This next article kind of resonated with me because I kind of think the same way here. Here it is from Apple Insider. It says Apple's iPhone 17 Slim is a wrong-headed approach that ignores what people really want. So what the article goes on to say is this new Slim 17 coming out, going to be in the iPhone 17, is they're making it extremely thin, right? And they're taking some features away at the same time, and they're making it different sizes. That's not what this guy's saying. He's saying like after talking to thousands of people that own iPhones, especially the 16 and the 15, nobody's ever told him they want a slimmer phone. Nobody's ever said that once to them. I think the phone's slim enough. Who wants a thinner phone? They want more battery, right? And this is counterintuitive to that. So the slimmer the phone, usually the less capacity for battery. So if this goes down or even is equal to what the other phone is, it's a failure, he thinks, in his opinion. I actually feel the same way. I'd rather have more battery, way more battery, maybe even a little thicker phone than a thin phone. Let me know how you feel. Okay, this next one's just another thing from me to you to tell you what's out there. You guys do your own research. This is called Space Time. I'll have a link to this in the description. It's from, unclutteredapp.com. So if you go down here, basically it's $74 right now, and you get all these apps included. So you get AirBuddy, App Tamer, Bartender 5, which is a big one, Bat-Fi, helps maximize your MacBook's battery lifespan. Keep going. You get BusyCal, CleanShot X, capture your Mac screen. These are screen capture. Daisy Disk, find out what's taking up your disk space and remove it. Keyboard Mastro. Keep going here. Key Clue, Swish, Tech Sniper. That's a big one too. Tech Soap 9, Unclutter right here. This is another big one. You get all these apps for $74. Usually they would actually go up to $309 if you bought them all separately. It's $235 off right now. So $74 if you want all those apps is a pretty good deal. We got another sale from Amazon. This is close to the lowest price. I saw this at $69 one time. Now it's up to $73. This is the Apple AirTag 4-pack, but still 26% off, roughly $73. It's right around the lowest price I've seen it. Okay, this next one's actually another funny article because it just shows you how crazy people are about suing in America and how they think they can get money. Here's Mac Rumors. It says Apple defeats lawsuit related to iCloud's measly 5 gigabyte of free storage. It says that the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit this week upheld a lower court's dismissal of a lawsuit alleging that Apple illegally deceived customers into paying for iCloud storage, according to a court filing. So long story short, this company is saying that they illegally made people pay for the storage. Now, how is that possible? Let's just take a look here. It says, let me just see if I can find it in here right here. It says the lawsuit alleged that Apple received customers into purchasing iCloud-enabled services by misleading customers into believing that they can easily keep their iCloud storage below 5 gigabyte free limit. In reality, the plaintiff alleged that users quickly exceeded this limit and must pay for increasingly more costly storage, up to 50 gigabytes or 12 terabytes. So they're basically saying that Apple gave you 5 gigabytes of free storage, but then they kind of suckered you in, and now you have to buy more if you need it, right? I mean, isn't this crazy? So like they're trying to sue them, saying like this is illegal, right? I mean, that's like suing Oreo cookies and saying, I bought the box because I only wanted one, but I ate the whole thing and I gained all this weight. I'm going to sue you for it because I couldn't control myself. So the same thing, they're giving you something for free. You can turn it off if you want to. You don't have to use it. Just crazy to me how people even try this. And some of these lawyers should be disbarred, in my opinion. Okay, the sale of the century is still going on at Walmart, although it's for an older Mac. But if you just need a burner Mac or a travel Mac or one for your kid, here it is. Walmart still has $599. This is the M1 MacBook Air base model, only 8 gigs, 256, but still better than 90% of all those Windows laptops out there for the same cost. $599 right now, really good deal. The only downside to this is the OS support later on, a couple years from now. But if you're going to be keeping this like 3 years or something, you have a kid, maybe they're just starting school, maybe you want to get them through 10th through 11th through 12th grade or something, this might be perfect. Okay, so we're going to wrap up the news, and I hope you guys like this. So we do this every week, like I said. I've been so busy with all of the different things coming out. Then we had the Black Friday, so if it's a little disgruntled here as far as my setup and everything, it's because I do it all myself. Like I always tell people, I try to get the content out even when I don't have time. So we do these kind of fun videos. Hope you guys like the content. Please subscribe, like it, and help me out, help me grow, and we'll make some better ones of these, I promise you. We'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.